this act is interpreted by government. It must obviously be misunderstood if we look at the millions of liters of raw sewage running down our streets and into our rivers and streams all across South Africa, polluting and destroying our environment for the next generations. And as far as safety is concerned, we all know the state of crime in South Africa, where murder, rape, and violent crimes has become the order of the day and part of our day-to-day living as a result of a poor and non-functional police service. Agbare voorsitter, in plaas daarvan om menseregte as 'n politieke speelbal te gebruik het, sou ons graag eerder wou sien of hoor hoe die ANC regering van plan was om hierdie probleme aan te spreek en te verseker dat basiese dienste gelewer word sodat almal in Suid-Afrika al basiese regte kan geniet. Maar oudergewoonte verskuif die ANC eerder die fokus weg van hulle eie onvermoë om basiese dienste te lewer en menseregte te bevorder en word daar gefokus eerder op geïsoleerde gevalle van die verlede waar rassehaat eerder bevorder word in plaas van menseregte. President Ramaphosa yesterday used the incident of Ski Lake in 2008, where a shooting took place by a white man, as an attempt to shift the focus from the ANC's incompetence and to create racial tension in South Africa, instead of addressing the issues and shortcomings of government to ensure that all in South Africa can one day enjoy basic human rights. And I would like to say to the President and to the ANC that living and hiding behind the past will get you nowhere. Blaming the past for your incompetence will get you nowhere. And fueling racial tension to hide your inability to govern South Africa will get you nowhere and instead makes you racist. Human Rights Day 2022 was a reminder to all South Africans that we unfortunately do not have the luxury to enjoy basic human rights in South Africa. It was a reminder that government and the ANC, as usual, puts their own needs and agendas before the needs of the people. It was a reminder that we have a government that prefers living in the past instead of creating a better future. And most of all, it was a reminder that no South African will truly have the pleasures of human rights as long as the ANC governs. Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Member. The next speaker is Honorable Nana. Honorable Nana.
Thanks, Mamungwenya, Honorable Minister, Honorable Members. Colleagues, freedom was not free. Many South Africans lost lives and limbs for me to enjoy the fruits of their sacrifices. I have no doubt in my mind that all those who paid with their lives are now turning in their graves for what our country has become. Neither effort nor energy must be spared in honoring them. Statues, memorial gardens, and heroes' acres can never be enough. We must honor them by providing basic human rights, such as clean water to those they bequeathed freedom. Open quote. Our daily deeds as ordinary South Africans must produce an actual South African reality that will reinforce humanity's belief in justice, strengthen its confidence in the nobility of the human soul, and sustain all our hopes for a glorious life for all. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another and suffer the indignity of being the skunk of the world. Close quote. This is Nelson Mandela in his inauguration as the President of the Democratic South Africa. As the country, we need to have a hard and honest look at ourselves as to whether we have not become the skunk President Mandela warned. As we all probably know, and lots of speakers who came before me have spoken at length about the origins of Human Rights Day. Indeed, this day came about as a result of the massacre in Sharpeville in 1960. However, honorable members, we must never forget the Langa massacre outside Uitenhage in the Eastern Cape on the 21st of March, 1985, in which 35 mourners were killed by the apartheid police and left 27 others wounded. As part of Human Rights Day celebrations, yesterday I spent time in a tiny town of Qumga in the Eastern Cape. We had an event in which close to 250 people were in attendance. I spoke to one Miss Tobeka Matanga. She told me she was initially reluctant to attend our event because she has lost hope, she has given up, she thinks the governing party has forgotten them. By her own admission, she is not a DA voter, but she decided to attend the event because she has heard that where the DA govern, it gets the job done. Honorable members, the sad story of Sis Tobeka and many others of her neighbors in Kumcha dates back to more than 8 years ago, when their taps went dry. They know they are now at the mercy of Amatole municipality. And now and then, trucks cut water to their township. But this service is not consistent, and they spend most of the time without water. It is an open secret in that area that owners of these trucks are in the high echelons of the ANC in the region. And this explains why Amatole municipality has chosen a more expensive option of providing water to this community rather than drawing water by a pipeline from the Great Kai, which is a few kilometers away. So for Sis Tobeka and many others in her neighborhood, human rights meant nothing. Honorable Madlopa, in the struggle, there were many players and formations, such as the Progressive Party, which is the predecessor of the DA, which had a lone ranger in parliament in the name of Mrs. Helen Suzman. She fought tooth and nail for the release of Nelson Mandela and other political prisoners. At least, at the very most, she deserves an acknowledgement. But Honorable Madlopo, you should be ashamed of yourself. Probably you're not told that this session will be carried in 5 platforms. For you to stand in front of us and defend job corruption in the city of Johannesburg is shameful. You know your core staff in your office are on a fixed term. Should Sihlet Zagalala decides to fire you, as I think she should, you will go with your staff, and therefore you cannot convert jobs on a fixed contract for people having not even gone through interviews. It is called job corruption. I don't wish to see you again in this house. Mamu Mahlangu, your speech for once today hit all the right notes, and I give credit to the person who wrote your speech. But remember, you kept on saying we need to have a private sector to invest so as we can create jobs. No private sector, and you must listen to me, no private capital can invest their money in an unstable environment. There has to be policy certainty for them to put in their money. For as long as they're talking about taking land without paying back owners of the land, forget that private capital will put in their money. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thanks very much, Honorable Nana.
Chocolate.
Honorable Member, order, Honorable Member. Honorable members, order. Honorable member, we continue with our list, speakers list. The next speaker is Honorable A.J. Nyambi, African National Congress. Honorable Nyambi.
Thank you, House Chair Mamgwenya.
Thanks, Baba.
Chairperson Tate Masondo, Honorable Minister Lamula, MECs from our respective provinces, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Nana, it is a fact that our government, led by the ANC, has done a lot in reducing poverty and inequality. But be that as it may, we all agree that there's still a lot to be done. Honorable Nana, a brotherly and honorable comradely advice. If we're in a debate like this one, all the time, play the ball, not the man. Play the ball, not a man. Honorable Chairperson, 21 March 1960, it's a painful reminder of the brutality of apartheid system against Black people in general and the Africans in particular. It also reminds us of the resilient struggles waged by Black people against apartheid and colonialism for the freedom and democracy we enjoy today, as correctly said by Honorable Minister Lamula when he was opening the debate. Just 5 years before the Sharpeville and Lang massacre on the 26th of June 1955, the people of South Africa from all walks of life gathered in Kliptown, Johannesburg, to formulate a blueprint document for a democratic South Africa, the Freedom Charter. The ANC democratic government is determined in the implementation of the Freedom Charter. The Freedom Charter declares that there should be equality among all national groups. All shall be equal before the law. There shall be housing, comfort and security. The land shall be shared among those who work it. The doors of learning and culture shall be open. House Chairperson, when the ANC came into power in 1994, we ensured that the aspiration of our people expressed in the Freedom Charter find expression in government policy. The Bill of Rights in our democratic constitution play a central role in ensuring that we deliver on the commitment of the Freedom Charter. Honorable House Chair, our democratic government takes the provision of a basic service as a human right for all our people. We have done a lot in 28 years since we came to power to redress the imbalances of the past. No one can dispute that. It is a fact. Of course, there are some challenges. No one can dispute the fact that since 1994, the democratic government has been able to roll out in a massive scale the provision of basic services to our people. It is a fact that this ANC government has provided over 5 million free RDP houses to South Africans who do not afford to own a house. The beneficiaries of these free RDP houses are also entitled to free basic electricity. This ANC government has ensured that our people has access to water services. Today our people have water. Of course, there are some challenges in comfort of their homes for those living in urban areas. While we have ensured that for rural communities, water is accessed within the 200 meters radius, these government actions are informed by the commitment of the very same Freedom Charter I alluded to. Honorable House Chairperson, the struggle against colonialism and apartheid was not only about the brutality of the system, but also about the oppressive and discriminatory laws such as the Group Areas Act. Honorable colleagues, it matters where people live and work. Honorable MEC from Western Cape, maybe let me take Western Cape and use it as an example, the mother city as an example. People living in Khayelitsha, working in Cape Town Central Business District, travel more than 30 kilometers to and from work every day. The cost of public transport for those taking the minibus taxi is 21 Rand per trip, meaning that it's 48 Rand per day, equal to 924 per month. The amount could be up if employees work during weekends. This is too much for people who are working low-paying jobs, such as cashiers in ShopRite. For an example, an average salary for a cashier at ShopRite is 750 per week, which is less than the minimum wage set by our government. Almost 40% of the salary is used for public transport, leaving the employee with little cash. The cost of public transport is a barrier to job seekers. It discourages people to seek for work. As things stand, the mother city is not a mother to all her children, as you claim. And this government, we must ensure that we address the spatial inequalities to reduce the poverty and inequality. We must ensure that people live in close proximity to their places of work. Honorable Minister tried to deal with this fact. Honorable House Chair, the high levels of poverty and inequality are a barrier to economic development and economic growth. Poverty and inequality for Black majority was deliberately created by the colonial and apartheid government successive policies, as today we are failing to understand that, Honorable Nana and Honorable Brain. It was the special government policy that created inequality access to education between the blacks and whites. It was its policies which ensures that there are few healthcare services in areas where Black people reside. It was through job reservations that excluded Black people from job opportunities because they were reserved for white people, as today Honorable Fernandez and Honorable Nana and Honorable Brain, we are struggling to understand these simple facts. Today we have people who through apartheid government exclusionary policies live in poverty. Most of them are uneducated, others have never worked and are dependent on government social protection services for their livelihoods. These people were deliberately excluded to acquire quality education to enable them to participate in the job market, as correctly explained by the minister when opening the debate. Honorable members, people affected by poverty in the most are young people and women. President Ramaphosa in his State of the Nation address, and today the minister dealt with this thing. One such intervention is the Presidential Employment Stimulus Program that has created more than 850,000 jobs opportunities since its inception in 2020. 80% of the beneficiaries in the program were young people, and women constituted 60% of all those employed in the program. Why can't you acknowledge that, honorable members, so that we can be seen that you are dealing with facts, not just distortion for political ends? Furthermore, through the South African Youth Mobi platform, our government has assisted more than 600,000 with job placement. Honorable House Chair, women are the backbone of our communities and are at the forefront in addressing poverty and hunger in their communities. Many of the community-based organizations are led and populated by women. Having recognized that our government is committed in creating 50,000 job opportunities through the Social Employment Fund, and as the NCOP will be watching that doing effective oversight. We want to reiterate that creating jobs is not the sole responsibility of government, but also the private sector needs to play its role as well. This is why our government is revising the employment tax incentive scheme to ensure that it's accessible to small, medium, and micro enterprises who are the drivers of economic growth and employment in our country. The ANC government is committed in reducing poverty and inequality in our society. When people are self-sufficient, they are able to assert and exercise their democratic rights. Honorable members, the democratic government is committed in narrowing the inequality and the poverty gap in our society through the provision in the social wage spending in education, health, social development. We are confident as government that will reduce poverty and inequality in our society. The founding president of our democratic society, Ntate Nelson Mandela, once said, open quote, "Education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that a child of a farm worker can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another," close quote. That is why me and you, Honorable Nana, were beneficiaries of that and were members of this beautiful house called National Council of Provinces. Through the commitments we made in the Freedom Charter, that the doors of learning and culture shall be open, government has committed an amount of 36 billion towards the free higher education. Honorable House Chairperson, quality education and skill development enables people to participate in the economy meaningfully. And it is through acquiring new skills that drive the emergence of new industries, which then lead to increased employment out of poverty, and inequality is reduced in our society. The government is committed in the provision of quality healthcare. That is why an amount of 3 billion has been allocated to absorb medical interns and community service doctors. It is our belief that through the implementation of the National Health Insurance, will achieve equal access to quality healthcare services in our society. It is through government concerted efforts in partnership with social partners will be possible to address the high level of poverty, inequality in our society. Honorable Nana, Honorable De Brain, Honorable MEC Fernandez, to know what you know and what you don't know, you must know that's what you call knowledge. To know what you know and know what you don't know is true knowledge. It's clear that Honorable Minister, when was opening, it means we're not listening, or you decided to focus on what was prepared for you. Because if we're listening to when the minister was opening the debate today, acknowledging some challenges, of course, touching achievements of government, and a number of speeches said by honorable members, you only focus on that paragraph by Honorable Mahlangu, of which I commend you for that, for giving credit where it's due. But a brotherly and honorable advice in future, listen when a debate is being opened so that you are not out of context, but you are in sync with what we are debating. In conclusion, allow me, Honorable House Chairperson, to indicate that we will continue to make strides in ensuring that our commitments in the Freedom Charter are realized and poverty and inequality is reduced. It is a fact that our government has done a lot in reducing poverty and inequality. But be that as it may, we say much more still need to be done. Honorable Minister, maybe in future you have to organize an imbizo will avail all members of NCOP to understand why it's always relevant to share the challenges of the past in dealing with issues that are facing us today. We're not shying away from corruption. You led from the front. You talk about the steps that are being taken by government to fight corruption. And now an impression is being created that ANC is not going to be fighting corruption. Honorable Chief Whip, once again, thanks for making such a very important debate and allowing us to engage and share and celebrate people that contributed. And we want to thank all Matthias who never even lived to see this democracy we're enjoying today. But it is out of their tireless efforts that today some of us from these deep rural areas, we are able to debate, not only able to debate, but after what has been done by government, we are on a virtual platform debating. I so thank you to the House Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, honorable member.
Tell them. Workshop them, Baba. Workshop
Order,
them.
Mama, order. Thanks very much, House Chairperson, Honorable Nyambi. I'll now continue with our list, speakers list. I would like now to call Honorable R. Lamola, Minister Justice and Correctional Service. Honorable Lamola.
Thank you, House Chairperson. Thank you, House Chairperson, and we welcome the constructive input from some of the honorable members. It is unfortunate that the opposition parties the coalition of the EFF, the DA, and the Freedom Front Plus chose to use this platform for electioneering and not to deal with the day-to-day human rights issues affecting the people of our country. There will be a time for electioneering in the 2024 general elections, and we have just finished now a process of electioneering with the local government elections. Now the people of this country, they expect us to deliver services. They expect us to continue to protect their rights, which is unfortunate that this coalition of these three organizations, every platform they get, they use it to proclaim that the ANC is going to be out of power in 2024. They must not speak on behalf of the people of South Africa. The people of South Africa, they will be able to speak for themselves through the ballot when they go and vote in 2024. For the opposition and for ourselves now is to build a country that responds to the economic challenges and to the human rights issues of our people as we speak now, and as we are here to deal with them. And I think Honorable Nyambi has responded to a number of issues. I would just like to use this opportunity to condemn the attack of Ugogo Mahlangu by unknown assailants at night, attacking a vulnerable woman who is an international artist icon for our country. It's an unfortunate incident, and the police must be able to apprehend, manhunt whoever is the perpetrator, and the law must take its course. A clear message must be sent to the people of this country that we all have a responsibility to protect nature and ensure that the vulnerable and the elderly, they've got a safe place of living in our country. And we want to wish speedy recovery to Koko Mahlangu, and also convey to her that the government of this country is with her, and we call upon the police to do everything possible to apprehend and ensure that justice is served on this matter, so that the people of this country must be able to see that they can feel safe in our country. And also to state that employment of people through due processes is not a corruption. The DA deploys the Federal Council of the DA. It was proven in the last State of the Nation address. A letter was written to the Stellenbosch municipality where the Federal Council was deployed. So I'm shocked that the Honorable Nana is calling that to be corruption. So we must, if that is corruption, then we must first arrest that Federal Council for wanting to capture the Stellenbosch municipality. But the deployment, it's an acceptable way of governing by any governing party. And the president, when he presented to the Zondo Commission, he even referenced to the OECD paper that clearly states that in all developing nations in the world, even the most advanced democracies developed, the issue of cadre deployment or the issue of deployment committee or policies is available to any governing party. It happened in the USA, it happens in England. In any advanced democracy, it does happen. And as we speak, what the DA is doing in the city of Johannesburg is to purge people that they believe do not belong to their organization. And as the ANC, we are very clear as the ANC government that all South Africans capable who have gone through due processes must be employed, irrespective of political affiliation, irrespective of race or color or creed. It is unfortunate that in the Western Cape, as MEC Fernandez was speaking, as we speak now, people are being killed in the townships, Kaelicha, in Langa, and most of the townships there, because the DA-led government is only planning or is only protecting the affluent suburbs and only those that they believe are people of affiliation to the Democratic Alliance. They do not have any plans to help and ensure that even in Kailicha, in Langa, in all the townships,
Honorable Minister.
In all the townships of the Western Cape, there is fair policing, which is not racially biased, but is for the people of all the Western Cape. In closing, House Chairperson, thank you very much for the constructive engagement, and let's all put our hands together to work for all South Africans. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Minister.
Okay. Thank you, honorable members. Thank you. Honorable members and honorable delegate, I would like to thank all the members that have been participated, and thank you the
Thank you, House Chair.
Thanks, Chief Whip. Honorable delegate, we shall now proceed to the order of the day. Consideration of the report of the Select Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Water and Sanitation, and Human Settlements. Announcement, tables, and the directive in terms of the Section 63 of the Water Services Act 1997, Act number 108 of 1997, to Umhlatuze Water Board, date 15 March 2022. I would now like to call Honorable T.S.C. Dodovu. Honorable Dodovu, the chairperson of the Select Committee of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Sanitation and Human Settlement, Honorable Dodovu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members of this House.
Honorable Dodovu.
I have an honor and privilege to
I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now, Chair?
Now I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and honorable members of the House. I have an honor and privilege to present on behalf of the Select Committee on COCTA, Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation, a statement on the directive in terms of Section 63 of the Water Service Act, number 108 of 1997, on the Umhlatuze Water Board. As I present this statement, we know that today, the 22nd of March, is World Water Day. Since 1993, on this day, the world celebrates water and raises awareness of more than 2 billion people living without access to safe water. The World Water Day is an annual United Nations Observance Day to highlight the importance of fresh water. The day is used to advocate for the sustainable management of freshwater resources. The theme of each day focuses on topics relevant to clean water, sanitation, and hygiene, which is in line with the targets of Sustainable Development Goal number 6. And on this day, the United Nations Water Development Report is released each year around World Water Day. Honorable Chairperson, on the 11th of March 2022, the Select Committee had a virtual meeting and an engagement with the Minister, Deputy Minister, and senior officials of the Department of Water and Sanitation. This engagement was informed by the directive tabled in terms of Section 63 of the Water Services Act number 108 of 1997 to Umhlatuzi Water and the subsequent referral to the Select Committee in terms of Rule 101 for consideration and reporting. The main objective of engagement was to accord the political leadership of the Department of Water and Sanitation an opportunity to inform members of the Select Committee on the legislative, procedural, and substantive matters relating to the directive. During the engagement with the Department of Water and Sanitation, the Select Committee has noted that the substantive matters relating to the directive centered around the constitutional and legislative failure of the district municipality to provide water and sanitation to the local communities. The Select Committee has also recorded the ineffective performance of the Water Service Authority, the non-adherence to norms and standards, and the fact that 61% of the population in the the district community still receive water via community standpipes. Honorable Chairperson and members, we all know that water and sanitation are part of the people's constitutional rights and cannot be justifiable and morally right that the district municipality, as one of the organs of the developmental state, is dismally failing to effectively and efficiently provide this constitutional imperative to the people of the district. Water as service delivery is a constitutional right to our communities, and the provision of sanitation is a dignity to our people. As members of parliament, we have a constitutional obligation to ensure executive accountability and robustly perform our oversight on service delivery irrespective of our political persuasions and parties. Honorable members, during our deliberations on the 11th of March, as a committee members, we have noted the following observations. That in terms of the legislative requirements, the Minister of Water and Sanitation has issued and communicated the directive to the district municipality and tabled the notice of directive to the chairperson of the NCOP and the Minister of COGTA on the 24th of February 2022. That the Department of Water and Sanitation issued a directive in terms of Section 63 of the Water Service Act in order to undertake management and operations as well as maintenance of water and sanitation infrastructure at the district municipality. That the Minister of Water and Sanitation has also tabled a notice of intention to take over water and sanitation services for a period not exceeding 5 years, while simultaneously assisting the municipality to build the capacity to manage water and sanitation in the area. That the Minister of COGTA in KwaZulu-Natal had invoked Section 1391B of the Constitution at the district municipality in February 2021. This provincial intervention was due to the poor performance in respect of maintenance and operations of water and sanitation infrastructure, the uneven provision of water services to communities, and project delays to prolong processes and possible fraud and corruption. That the situation has not improved since the invocation and implementation of Section 139 of the Constitution intervention. The objective of this directive in terms of Section 63 of Water Services Act was a complete restoration of an effective water service functions of the municipality. That the Director General of the Water Department has been mandated to appoint a technical team composed of officials of Mhlathuzi Water, the Department of Water and Sanitation, Water Service Authority and Provincial Department of COCTA to assess progress of intervention and provide regular updates. We must also note that and welcome the Recovery Implementation Program of the Department of Water and Sanitation, which focuses on institutional arrangements, operation and maintenance, technical services, estimated timelines in building sustainable capacity and capability. We lastly observed that Mkhanyakude municipality has communicated to the Department of Water and Sanitation an intention to declare a dispute in terms of Section 42 of the Intergovernmental Relations Framework Act. As a collective, Honorable Chairperson, members of our Select Committee have unanimously agreed on the following recommendations for approval by this House. That the NCOP approves the directive in Mkhanyakude District Municipality in terms of Section 63 of the Water Services Act, not for the period exceeding 5 years. That the Minister of COCTA and Water and Sanitation should, in the spirit of cooperative governance, ensure the deployment of qualified, skilled, and competent officials in the implementation of the directive in the district municipality. That both ministers of the departments should ensure participation of sector departments in the implementation of the directive in the Mkhanyakude district municipality. That the Minister of Water and Sanitation should table quarterly and yearly progress reports to the NCOP on the implementation of the directive in terms of Section 63 of the Water Services Act. That the Department of Water and Sanitation should fast-track the process of business planning and costing and align the required resources with the annual performance plan and budget allocation in order to ensure effective implementation of the intervention in terms of Section 63 of the Water Services Act in the district. And lastly, Honorable Chair, that our Select Committee, in collaboration and cooperation with the relevant portfolio committee in the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Legislature, should conduct a proactive oversight visit to Mkhanyakude District Municipality in order to monitor progress in respect of the implementation of the directive.
As you conclude, Chair,
of the Water Service Act and Section 1391B of the Constitution. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thanks very much, Honorable Dodogo. Honorable members.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable delegate, I'll now put the question, and the question
Chairperson,
the declaration of the vote. In terms of the Rule 86, if they so wish, maximum it's 3 minutes per declaration. Honorable Laxkafen.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Chair, can I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me just get my document. Honorable Chair, the Democratic Alliance herewith confirms the recognition in the National Water Act that the water of South Africa belongs to the people of South Africa, of which all spheres of governments must ensure that water supply services must be provided in a manner which is efficient, equitable, sustainable, and within the quality of the allowed regulations for potable water. It is to be understood and practiced that water is life, a constitutional obligation, a human right, but a basic human need which without no life is possible. If any sphere of government violates within their mandate of authority in the provision of a constitutional human right, they should be held accountable and face the full might of the law. The inhumanly failure of poor maintenance and operations of water and sanitation infrastructure, the uneven provision of services to communities, and delayed projects requires implementation of strict consequence management to those implicated in this failure is a sin against the people of Nkanyankudi. In a developmental state, all spheres of government entrusted with the authorities to provide essential services should continuously be monitored by the Minister of Water and Sanitation as the custodian of the water of South Africa, demanding accountability of every sphere of government to comply within the set objectives all over South Africa. The Western Cape supports the directive in terms of Section 63 of the Water Service Act 108 of 1997 to Umushatuze Water Board dated 15 March 2022. I thank you.
Thanks very much, honorable member. Honorable members, we shall now proceed to the voting on the question, and the question is that the report be adopted. I'll call upon the provinces to cast their vote when called upon. Heads of the delegations must indicate whether they vote in favor or against or abstain. Siyakuba. Free State.
Free State votes in favor, Honorable House Chairperson.
Thanks, Honorable Zube.
Honorable House Chairperson, Eastern Cape yavuma.
I can't hear you.
Eastern Cape supports the report.
Honorable Ndongeni, Eastern Cape.
Support.
Siyabonga. Free State and Sube have supported. Gauteng. 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 Siyakuba. KwaZulu Natal.
IKwaZulu Natal iyayeseka sihlalo i-report siyabonga.
Nikhona in the house.
Sikhona
Khona sihlalo.
We are here. KZN.
KZN iyayeseka sihlalo i-report.
Thanks, Mama. Limpopo.
Limpopo support the report.
Yaleboga. Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga support the report, Mama.
Northern Cape.
Northern Cape support, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Northwest.
Northwest support the report.
Northwest.
Northwest support the report, Honorable House Chair. Honorable House Chair.
Yes.
Northwest support.
Honorable Modise.
Northwest support. Re amugela.
Thanks, ma'am. Honorable Lapskachen, Western Cape.
The Western Cape supports. Did you hear me, Chair? The Western Cape supports.
Thanks very much, Honorable Lapskachen. Honorable members, 8 provinces have been supported. I will now close the voting. Honorable members, a number of the provinces voted in favor. I therefore declare the report in accordance with Section 65 of the Constitution. Honorable delegate, that concludes the business of the day. I wish to thank the Minister
We thank you too, House Chair. We can no longer hear you. Thank you very much.
The House is adjourned, honorable members.
Malibongwe.
Igama lamakhosikazi.
Thank you.
Malibongwe. Malibongwe.
Malibongwe.
Thank you.
Love
you, Mami. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you, Mankosi.
Recording stopped.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Ms. Powers?
Good afternoon, Advocate.
Yes, are we ready for tomorrow, Mr. Mbulana?
Advocate,
Nonyane.
I'm still to send out the duty roster. I did let my colleagues know that